I don't have many friends. I'm not interested in going out of my way to make any. I don't hate people. I don't particularly like them either. Early in the game, we hear the inner monologue of Ringo. Having contemplated suicide herself, she's drawn to a strange recruitment poster for Club Suicide and meets 5 boys who are all seriously planning their own deaths. The game directly explores mental illness, despair, self-destruction, and the question of whether life is worth continuing. What surprised me most, though, was how much I liked Ringo as a heroine. At first, she comes across as aloof and asocial, but she's actually a good listener and highly empathetic. Despite her own struggles, she doesn't project them onto others or drag people down. That said, out of all the boys, Eba isn't my favorite character, yet his route affected me the most because, well, I relate to him. Sure, I could relate to the introversion and otaku hobbies, but it was his inferiority complex and self-worth issues that felt uncomfortably familiar. Looking at Eba was like looking into a mirror, not of who I am now, but of a version of myself I struggled with for a long time. Throughout the route, he constantly criticizes and belittles himself, apologizing for things that aren't his fault and blaming himself for everything that goes wrong. The thing is, his pain wasn't caused by obvious mistreatment. Eba wasn't bullied or abused. He comes from a wealthy family with supportive and loving parents, yet he always believes that he doesn't deserve happiness, love, or even a place in the world. Even when Ringo repeatedly praises his talents, he can't see it himself. Not gonna lie, there were moments when Eba's route made me feel nauseous because it hits too close to home. I understood his way of thinking a little too well. Self-hatred is a vicious cycle. You hate yourself, then you hate yourself for not being able to stop hating yourself, which only gives you another reason to hate yourself. It's like being trapped in a prison built by your own mind. No matter where you go, you can't escape it. And when you're drowning in self-loathing, it's difficult to see yourself clearly. Even if you're surrounded by people who care about you, their affection never fully reaches you. You become dependent on external validation while remaining unconvinced by it. You chase approval because you want proof that you're worthy, but no amount of approval ever feels like enough. Thus begins a cycle of validation seeking and social comparison, where self-worth becomes tied to recognition from others. Reading Eba's monologues was suffocating because they captured that mindset so well. I want to be something that isn't what I am right now. I'm not fit to be human. I want to disappear. I just want to become nothingness. What struck me most about those lines is that Eba doesn't exactly want to end his life. He just wants to end the pain. That brings me to the part of the route I'm conflicted about, his happy ending, where he decides to give life another chance, with Ringo promising to stay by his side and reminding him that he matters. This can easily be interpreted as love saving him. While I do believe that care from another can reassure, if your entire sense of worth depends on someone else, happiness becomes fragile and unsustainable. Relationships change, people leave, circumstances can shift. The one person you're guaranteed to spend every moment of your life with is yourself. That's why I think the most important relationship you'll ever build is the one with yourself. When I look at Eba's route, I don't see a story about being saved by love. I see a story about finding a reason to stay alive long enough to redefine yourself. It is through that process that he begins to decide for himself what makes life worth living. Even if life has no inherent meaning, we still have the ability to create meaning for ourselves. I find that comforting. It's also something I wish I had realized sooner. If I could say something to Eba and my past self, it would be this: your worth does not depend on external approval. The number of friends or followers you have, or the way others treat you, are not objective measures of your value. They are reflections of subjective preferences and perceptions. Imagine you're a rose. To one person, you're beautiful and breathtaking. To someone with allergies, you're irritating. To someone who was hurt by thorns in the past, you're intimidating. To someone who prefers lilies, you're unremarkable. None of those opinions define what the rose is. People see it differently because of who they are and what they've experienced. A rose doesn't become more or less valuable simply because someone likes or dislikes it. The same is true for us. As long as you know who you are and accept yourself as you are, including both strengths and weaknesses, you don't need to chase other people's approval to feel secure in yourself. If you can be at peace with who you are and become your own light, then even when life turns dark, you won't completely fall apart. Of course, that's easier said than done. It's difficult to love yourself when you've spent years doing the opposite. That's why I think self-respect is a better starting point than self-love. You don't have to love yourself today or even tomorrow. Love is complicated. Respect is a choice. You can choose to take care of yourself, stand by yourself, and treat yourself with basic respect whether you believe you deserve it or not. One thing that helped me develop that self-respect was learning to separate my identity from my negative thoughts. If my mind says I'm useless, I no longer treat that thought as the truth about who I am. Instead, I step back and ask, is this actually true, or is this just how I feel right now? Rather than labeling myself a failure, I started asking, I made a mistake. What can I learn from it? And focused on improving myself, not attacking myself. That's what self-respect looks like to me, giving yourself the same kindness you would give to someone you refuse to give up on. Tell yourself, even if everyone turns away, even if you have nothing left, you still have me. I won't leave. I'll always be here. It's okay to make mistakes because you're human. I won't judge you for that. I forgive you. I'll help you grow. I'll walk beside you, even when you cannot see your own worth. And when you're ready, I'll be there to remind you, you were never unworthy to begin with.